Vinyl backdrops are probably one of my most used backdrops when I'm shooting. I do have seamless non-reflective paper rolls, but I find myself not using them as much anymore, even though I still love the effect. But I love the versatility and flexibility of vinyl backdrops and how they can add visual interest to your photos. So in this video, I'm going to cover a couple of different ways that you can use vinyl backdrops, some a little bit more interesting, some more simple, and also show you guys obviously the styling behind the scenes as well. And of course, if you want to learn more about brand photography and getting into this industry, then I highly recommend go and check out my online course, Become a Brand Photographer. It not only teaches you the photography side of things, but also the business side of things, which to me is absolutely essential in running a successful photography business. So if you'd love a little discount, you can use the code YouTube for 10% off, and I hope to see you in there. Now, I get majority of my vinyl backdrops from a store called Everyday Co, and I personally think she has one of the most diverse range of backdrops on the market. She has both patterned and plain colored backdrops, so it's like a one-stop shop for everything vinyl that you need. And to all my international viewers, she does ship internationally, and I've also got a discount code that you guys can use. It's just Amanda20 for 20% off anything in her range. And of course, I'll leave all the details below to her store and my favorite backdrops as well in the description box below. But now let's get into the styling. So we're going to be using the pink tiled backdrop. This is my favorite one from Everyday Co, and the beige plain color backdrop for my base, and here are my products. So I'm going to be using the pink tile backdrop as the backdrop and the plain color as my base. Now, when you are using tiled backdrops, make sure that they are straight and not crooked. I see this happen a lot where the tiles are crooked and it doesn't look natural to the eye. I also sometimes see tiled backdrops used as seamless backdrops, which again, it doesn't look natural in the way tiles would be laid out. So bear that in mind when you are using tiled backdrops. So these are the props I'm going to be working with today and the products. I want to keep it quite minimal in terms of how many props I'm using. So let's get started. And I know a lot of you have said that you struggle with composition of your frame, of your scene. And really it's just about experimenting with where to place your props and what you think looks good to the eye. There's no right or wrong when you're styling a scene. It's literally what you can come up with and your own creativity. So I think I'm going to take this shot as it is with this styling, and then I might add in a couple of other prop elements just so I have some options to work with in post-production. But otherwise, I think that looks pretty nice and simple. Now, I'm not sure I'm liking this size glass sphere in the frame. I actually think it overpowers the product a little bit because it's nearly the same size, or pretty much is the same size. So what I'm gonna do is take that out. I'm gonna bring this one over here, and then I'm gonna introduce just the same size small one and pop that at the back. I think that kind of balances it a little bit more, and this way this doesn't overpower the product. So in terms of where I have my lights, I've got one strobe on the left-hand side, and it's lighting from the left and casting that shadow over to the right. I really love lighting this way. I just think it looks really beautiful. And then I've got my other light on the right. This is another strobe with a softbox, just so that I'm not getting any other shadows going in a different direction on the scene. So that's why I've got my softbox on. And then my camera here. And the camera I'm using is a Canon R5. I just bought this and the quality is incredible. I'm in love with it. I'm so happy I made the upgrade. And then I'm using my Canon L series 100mm lens. If you are doing product photography, I highly recommend to shoot at least 50mm. 100mm is just, I'm obsessed. It's so beautiful and creamy, and I love this lens. And then I've got my Godox X Pro trigger to control my strobes. Okay, so the next way I'm going to style the vinyl backdrop is doing it with a seamless look. So I've just got my blue background here, and I think the height I need is about here. And I'm just going to bring it, I think there. I don't want it too much against the wall because you do get a little bit of a light reflection on the seam and I don't want that. So I'm just gonna bring it out a little bit. Let's get styling. So for this scene, I'm gonna keep it fairly simple and use these wooden blocks to place my product on. So because I'm working with a circular product, I'm going to be using circular blocks because I think that will complement the product the best. And then I'm just going to pop something in the background to give it a little bit more visual interest. So I'm going to use this triangle piece. And then I'm going to pop a whiteboard here on the right so that my light will bounce off the right and back onto this side of the scene. I'm also going to add in some shadow play. I'm just going to use this and I'm going to pop it on the left here so that I get a really nice, beautiful shadow on the product. And I'm going to be taking the photo fairly close up as well. I really want to see the detail of the product and get a little bit more of a macro shot. So now that I've taken that shot, I want to play around with a little bit of texture. So because I only have one jar of this, and if you do work with brands, it's a really good idea to request more than one product. So I'm just going to scoop out a little bit of product and pop it on this just so I can access it easily. That should be enough. Pop that lid back on. And I want to put the product, I think, like around the lid. So I'm just going to see what this looks like. I'm going to see what that looks like. I have no idea right now, but we're just going to experiment with this and see if we can add some texture into this shot. So I'm just going to play a little bit more with my texture on the front and just see if I can come up with anything else I like in terms of where my texture is positioned. But yeah, it's a fun way to show texture, I think, by just like scraping it on the bottle. Some people might not think it looks good, but I do, and that's what matters. For this scene, we are going to be using 3 different backdrops. I've got a pattern one, and then I've got 2 plain color, soft beige, neutral backdrops. So let's get styling. I'm gonna show you how I use all 3 in the one scene. So I'm gonna put my patterned backdrop as the backdrop itself. I think it'll add more interest by having this as the backdrop as opposed to a plain color. I'm going to be using the darker beige as my base, as I don't want to overpower the photo with a darker color, because what I'm going to then do is I want to bring this one and have it sitting like this. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to be grabbing my Moodlier props to help me hold up this backdrop. Grab another one. So ideally you just need something that has the same height. And what I'm going to do is just bring this out a little bit here so that it curves. And now that that's set up, I think I can move ahead and place down my products. So I'm firstly going to pop down my Moodlier prop, and we're shooting a candle today. So I'm going to use the box here so that you can see the scent of the candle and place it there. Now I want to experiment with this here. I'm not really sure yet on that combination, but I'm going to take the photo and see what it looks like and make a decision later. So I'm not sure I like this here where it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it there instead. And because we're dealing with citrus in the scent of the candle, I'm going to use some orange. And this is why I love using vinyl backdrops, because you can put raw ingredients on them and they're not going to destroy your backdrops. Put that one there, and obviously get that out in Photoshop. It's not really that pretty, but all right, I'm gonna see what that looks like and go from there. And again, for my light, I've just got one on the left here with no softbox, and then another one on the right. They are currently on continuous mode, just so we have some light for the video, but they will be switched over to strobe. Now that that's done, I'm going to take away the oranges, and this is another reason why I love the vinyl backdrops, because you can just do that and clean away any of the juices and your backdrops are still nice and clean. And the other thing that I love doing with vinyl backdrops are smear shots, because you're not going to end up ruining the backdrop. And the product glides on really beautifully on the vinyl. Love that. I hope you enjoyed that behind the scenes tutorial using the vinyl backdrops, and I'll leave all the resources and links and the discount code in the description box below for you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.